Hi guys, welcome back. We are here to do your update for December 2020. I can't believe I'm saying this. Now, this has been a very unique year. A lot of what's going to come through is going to be very unique this month. I'm here to guide you through that process and into 2021 and beyond. This is a very comprehensive report, and this is a really large pivotal point for us collectively. So we're going to dig deep into your astrology charts. We've also got this video where you can stream forward, stream back, and actually link into what you need to listen to. But there are very important aspects inside this video that are going to help you through. So, you're really guided to listen to each section. It's deeply important for you, and it will be changing the collective for the whole of December 2021. Now, key dates are mentioned and key themes. Let's get into the energy. Grab a cuppa, sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. Okay, moving into this month, we already have Neptune and Pisces direct. Now, in shadow energy, it can take some time to kick up some speed. This is an energy that is quite slow moving. We're also having the conjunction point this month, as well as the energy of both Saturn and Jupiter moving from Capricorn into Aquarius, which is, it's what we've been waiting for moving into 2021. It has really taken a toll on us moving through. So many of us will be very grateful, but it is a transitional stage. You need to attempt to keep as grounded as possible through it. Conjunction points can be very positive. They can bring blessings to you. The day after the eclipse, we are also having Aries and Chiron stationary direct. So again, it will move quite quickly. We do need to pay attention to inside our zodiac signs where that links to, which I will mention. But bear in mind that energy, we will start within the next 1 to 2 weeks feel like we're more energetic. We did have Aries and Chiron retrograde. It was really pushing us down for 6, feeling very tired. A lot of us still were feeling tired last month, due to the fact that Aries and Chiron was still retrograde, to give us that time to really reflect. So it's really healthy that it is moving forward, especially moving into Christmas and New Year. It's going to put us in a better standpoint where we can deeply be in our emotional grounded energy to be able to see and perceive things. Also, with Neptune and Pisces going direct, it's going to be doing the same thing. And as we move into January 2021, we will have Uranus and Taurus going direct, where next year it will be making 3 squaring points to Saturn in Aquarius. Okay, this situation moving forward for you, Pisces, in this point of the video, we'll link to date by date. You can move forward if you wish to go directly to romance, directly into abundance, health, chakra reports, if you wish. But do keep this video, this point of it, because it is quite informative as to themes that can play out during the weeks for you, day by day. Okay, Pisces, welcome back into your astrology. Now, at the beginning of the month, we're still moving away from the energy of Neptune in Pisces stationary direct. So although it is direct, it takes some time to start kicking off. It's very slow in moving, and that's connected to your first house. So when it comes to things relating to you, of who you are, one could say existential crisis, it's a transformation. So just, with any of your hopes and dreams and the way you see yourself, anything relating to you, it can be slow moving initially, but you're gonna feel more energetic moving forward. Aries and Chiron is still retrograde until after the second eclipse, and that is going to be stationary direct on the 15th. We're also moving away from the eclipse that we had in Gemini last month, and that energy will still resonate. So hold on to those videos. I'll try and put it in the information box inside this video so that you can use that as a resource moving into the next 6 to 18 months. Those subject matters will be playing out for us. We have the eclipses surrounding both the North and the South Node. The South Node is an area that will be transformed. The more research I do in this area, things linking back to 2001 can be transforming. Where were you? What were you doing? Even back to 1984, one could look back to that energy with the conjunction points that will be occurring this month. So the solar eclipse in Sagittarius is happening on the 14th. This is occurring at the critical degree point. 23 degrees, so it can be quite large. Now, with the Gemini eclipse, it can be collective energy that occurred. It was things outside of ourselves that was happening, which directly is transforming, and from that, it is moving over the next 6 to 18 months because we have the nodes there for 2.5 years. Now, with this eclipse, it will be directly something in your life that can be changing and transforming. Now, some of these can be old situational ships coming back from those date time points I mentioned of previous years, where it's a second opportunity to transform that energy. So for you, that does link to your 10th house placement, your career. So you could potentially look back at those dates. If something wasn't achieved back then, it can be a second chance. It can be an opportunity to, if you've been working hard, and looking at things and wondering what to do, especially because Neptune and Pisces had been retrograde, looking at that now and deciding what you want to do and thinking outside the box. And with Gemini in the 4th, for some of you, it can be where you are working from home. I do tend to find with the eclipse energy, some of these areas had already been playing out the month prior, leading to this point. Now, if you had issues in those areas, you may find now those things start to transform and change. And these can be within our career sector, how we're showing up, what we're doing, what steps we're taking with that growth energy. It also can link to benefits coming from those direct areas that you had been working upon since May. Also look back to May for some of the themes that were playing out around then, and they can give you an indication as to what can be happening within your life, and it can be something you were working on from May where you start reaping benefits moving forward. This is where within that placement, however it's relating to your life, you can actually turn over a new leaf and you can transform it. And again, it will last for quite some time with this particular eclipse, due to the fact it's a solar eclipse. Now, on the 17th, we have Saturn entering Aquarius, and on the 19th, we have Jupiter entering Aquarius, and they will be leaving the energy of Capricorn. Prior to that, we're still having conjunction points between the two, which in a moment I will discuss those and how they're going to play out for you. And then we're having the Great Conjunction energy, of which we're hearing all over the internet. Now, it is deemed theoretically as a very lucky placement. So many of us can get benefits connected to that area, as well as the energy of Aquarius moving into 2021. And for the other half of the month are going to be lighter in vibration. During 2021, we will have Saturn remaining in Aquarius, and for some time. I do believe the energies of the air signs are going to be remaining in Saturn, which is unprecedented, and it's going to be for approximately 60 years. So it will be very much technology orientated, air-based frequency related, in a subject matter that will go through our lifetime. However, with Jupiter, it will retrograde back into your first house mid-year in 2021, which if you subscribe or you're wanting to follow me, for you, this will hit your first house placement. So Jupiter relating to where you're going, what you're doing, collective energy, I will discuss later, but it will be hitting your natal first house placement. And in a retrograde effect, you tend to find it's reflective. So before proceeding forward, relating to how to move in life, what to do, what plans you've got, anything you related, it's pausing, and then you will find you will be deeply reflecting during that time. And it can be a very beneficial placement as well, but we'll discuss that later. Okay, let's get into the charts leading up to the date of the 14th. Now, at the beginning of the month, we are moving out of the energy of the eclipse, but the moon energy is still there. And as I mentioned, it does last for about 6 months, and then we have that meeting point again with that same zodiac sign inside the moon for another eclipse, and that will be in approximately 6 months. So we have both the energy of the moon in Gemini and Mercury enters Sagittarius. This is the axis of the nodes for you. So you do have your emotions and your thoughts relating to your psychological foundation, any domestic related situations that are coming up, endings, completing tasks. Fourth house can be home as well, very similar to moon. So there can be subjects that you're mulling over in your mind or trying to complete. Also with the fourth house, it does tend to be quite a busy situation. So if you're just reflecting and you're reflecting upon what that is going to be moving forward, what you would need to do to shift things about, relating to home, stability, how to fine tune it. Is it something relating to your daily routine? Is it people calling upon you that is directly impacting you, or is it vice versa? The other situation is cognitively also, and in a verbal sense, you may be discussing or thinking of your career sector due to the fact that Sagittarius is linked to the 10th house. Now, some of you may be currently working from home. Others of you may be thinking about how you can generate an income. And this can be your foundation, managing money, what to do with it, what you're pouring your energy into. This can even be if you aren't working and you are retired. The things that you're doing in your daily routine, moving forward, as well as how it's directly impacting you, trajectory, energy. Now on the 5th and the 6th, you are going to have very beautiful energy. We do have the moon transiting Leo. So this will be your place and situations, your health subjects can come up. You can be tuning into what your part was, what the direct situation is between your relationships. But you'll find that the energy of relationships and yourself in the mix of it will flow effectively on these dates. Between the 7th and the 8th, I feel again, you will be able to sum these energies up inside of your 7th house placement of marriages, contracts, partnerships, what your connection is to these people, how you feel about it, how you're seeing it. You might be micromanaging it because it is in the energy of Virgo at that point. So really trying to sift through what was said, what people are doing, how you're coming to the table. I feel it'll be a deeply... maybe even the desire to heal certain situations can come up. You may even feel at times you need to heal relationships around you. Just sitting with that, especially because Aries and Chiron is retrograde. Meditate upon that role. See if that directly resonates with you. And again, with Aries and Chiron in your 2nd house placement, can link to how you're feeling. Maybe you have abilities to understand and comprehend. Maybe some people around you are struggling. Maybe you have more at your tactile, hand, so to speak, to assist with these situations. And it can be self-esteem based energy as well. Now, all things career are falling through by the time we reach the 9th all the way to the eclipse. So anything relating to your career can come up in a thought process. And your position in those domains, and with Mars, what where the wound is. Do you have everything at your disposition? Do you have what you need? What would you need to do to transform that area? Do you have wounds linking to it of maybe not having enough, maybe not having the ability or the professional resources, the skills in those areas, and where you are right now, what you need to do to transform that. With Shin collective energy, it would make perfect sense, especially for those of you that currently unemployed, maybe due to lockdown energy and things to that degree. Thinking outside the box. As Mars Aries and Chiron, which is Mars energy, goes direct, you will feel more confident in that area. Now, with the 10th house placement on the 9th, you are looking for balance. This can be seeking out and looking for a contract. It can also be 8th house of, okay, what are the give and take in contracts? This can be even from a psychological point of view. You could be looking back and reflecting. It doesn't have to be it's relating to career. You could be meditating upon previous careers. But regardless, because you do have 10th house activation in your astrology, for many of you, it can be what you're doing, what you're wanting to work towards, or direct employment. Now, 8th house is maybe where you're feeling with the sun in Sagittarius, because you're putting a lot of energy into things. What the difficulty is, and it can be, for you, frustration linking to things not coming together, but in trying to create that balance of give and take with all your connections as well. Because 8th house will link to both your employment, your marriages, your contracts, and your interconnections, give and take in connections. So it can be frustrating on the 9th, but continue to move forward. Also, because self-esteem energy can be coming into play on that date. On the 10th, the same situational ship shall occur, but needing to, what's going to come up on that day is maybe in a group section or a dynamic. It's going to highlight what needs to change. It's going to highlight what needs to come to an end. That can be a dispute, it could be a situational ship, it could be a location. However it's going to play out for you, leave a comment in the box. I'd love to hear. Now on the 12th, on the 11th and the 12th rather, we do have the moon transiting Scorpio. So it's very similar to the 8th house placement, but it's very Mars in nature. So you'll be able to tackle a lot of things on this day. You'll keep your cards close to your chest. You'll be very intuitive. You need to trust touch energy in order to deal with anything career and your interconnections. Okay, now we move to the pivotal point. We're going to move straight on to the eclipse energy. The eclipse for you guys is occurring, and for everyone collectively, on the 14th. As I mentioned, it's at the critical degree point. For you, major themes linking to the career sector, your work, your reputation, what you're wanting. Plus, as I mentioned previously, subjects of the past coming back. This can even be foreigners, because the energy is Sagittarius. You could be linking with a foreigner. You could be tuning into a situation. You could be reconnecting in with people from the past, old situational ships, even back to 1984. And between 2001 and 2002 can come back. So look back to that time, what was playing out back then, again, and also look back to May, and it will give you some synchronistic patterns about what potentially could play out. Now, as we move towards the 21st, now the first conjunction point we had at the beginning of the year, and this one is with both Saturn and Jupiter, both in the sign of Aquarius. It does fall in your 12th house placement of Aquarius. If you had launched any creative ideas prior to this process and even during the year, you potentially can actually reap rewards moving forward. This is also going to be a place where we transfer it over and we have bright ideas and we can directly apply them for 2021. The heavy pressure you were feeling was from the 11th house placement of Capricorn. Now, we will have Pluto there for another 3 years, but you'll find that both Jupiter and Saturn will counteract that to lighten that load a little bit. And it's kind of handy because it means as we move forward with our growth, with our changes collectively, we will be more inclined to let things go if they're needing to, because it's that audit system we're going through in life where we're looking at it going, okay, this doesn't resonate, this doesn't serve us, we need to let this go. So it's going to help us to purge those situations that no longer resonate with us. Number one, this conjunction point can bring absolute blessings. If you have been pouring a lot of energy into your employment or moving things about and shifting things, you can find this can be quite beautiful. Also to do with your hopes, dreams and aspirations, you've learnt a great deal with the zodiac sign Capricorn in your natal, linking to what the responsibilities are, you know, inside of these things, inside of your friendship groups, inside of the things that you directly associate yourself with, where you take those things to, how you work with your employment and how you deal with it. All of those areas is accountable energy with Capricorn. For some of you at a very mundane level, if you're not working, it could be finances coming and payments that directly support you. So yes, there could potentially be another one, but it's also the bigger vision of, you know, how does your finance affect you when it does come to your social activities? And for many of you, if you did have, you know, a lot of restrictions linking to that, it might have been due to the placement of Capricorn in your zodiac sign. And you can find that you're able to do more of that as we move into 2021, where you'll have a bit more flexibility to be able to enjoy those areas and to look at what growth really means. You know, sometimes we can look at growth within our interconnections as you know, bonding together, going out and having fun together. Again, there can be free ways we can do those things, and it may be a more spiritual way you're going to choose to interconnect with people. It may be conversations, it might be having a cup of tea with a person, and that's just an example. For others of you, it is linking to career, and this can really highlight and benefit you moving forward. Now, before we get into the romance section of things and into section by section for you, I wanted to talk about the 30th. Now, we are ending the year on the 30th with the moon being in Cancer. Now, this is going to be, again, at the critical degree point. Cancer can relate to our emotions, our home, our feelings to do with things. And definitely because we had the nodes in May shift, things to do with that also can be coming up. Now, lucky enough, we will have Aries and Chiron direct, but after the year we've had with all the things that we had to let go of and the changes happening, it can bring emotions to the forefront, and this relates to your 5th house placement. Being at the critical degree point, it is similar to the Fool card, needing to move forward, but you really need to be gentle when it does come to your thoughts linking to past romances, love ventured, love conquered, love lost. Children, same situationalship, co-creative energy, anything that you were wanting to create, letting go, maybe even looking at inner child wounds, but we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. Let's get into your romance. Okay, all things love, Pisces. Let's have a look at the love domain, be it you coupled, singled or partnered. With the 7th house placement, it links to marriages, contracts, partnerships and all those interconnections. And due to the fact we have Aries and Chiron retrograde until mid-month, self-esteem and emotions can come up slightly. It's more a reflection than anything. Also, when it does link to your joint ventures, you will find that should start moving forward due to the fact that we had Neptune and Pisces retrograde at the beginning of the month. Thoughts, conversations relating to your belief systems can come up, and that's more towards the beginning of the month, but you're really speaking quite matter of fact. You will want to get to the point of notions, especially with all the heavy Sagittarius placement. I really do feel as well, as Neptune goes direct, which it did, your energy of the way you have feelings towards things is going to become more assertive. Now, you do need to be mindful that pretty much until January, the 2nd house placement is going to be heavily hit. So that can be changing things around, anything that you're building towards, looking at your material wealth, your professional resources, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and your ability to follow through with things. So as Aries and Chiron goes direct, you'll have more tools to maybe discover some of those areas where potentially it was preventing you. And then very separately, you could also be dealing with looking at the big picture. Where is this going? Where, be it you with the person or not, where is this going? How is this going to flow forward? As we have both Jupiter and Saturn transit into the 12th house, it really does depend on how this plays out for you in the initial stages. We're having heavy hitting energy when it does come to conjunction points, moving to the great conjunction, and that's within Capricorn. And Capricorn links to your hopes, dreams and aspirations. Also to do with the bigger picture. And I am seeing a theme linking to a person from the past or a person at a distance. Now, as we reach the conjunction point, it is hitting your 12th house placement. This can be where you are wanting to attract a person who is very spiritual in nature. It can be someone who is very worldly wise. Also someone who enjoys socialization and really will become part of your tribe group. Now, if you're in a connection, again, you could be looking at the psychological scenarios surrounding all your interconnections. As for romance, emotions and anything linking to children can come up in the first 2 weeks. By the time we reach the 9th, it's shared resources, attracting like-minded individuals that are on the same page with you romantically. If you're in the connection, you will also be potentially even discussing your ability to bounce back and how to merge things and how to interconnect with each other, and it can become a more romantic time by mid-month. Okay, here's your chakra report, Pisces. Now, as I mentioned, because we will have both Saturn and Jupiter moving into Aquarius, it will hit your 12th house, which can be anything linking to psychology, crown chakra, So clearing that chakra using amethyst can assist. Now with Neptune direct, you will find you will feel grounded, more grounded than you have before. However, with Mars retrograde, you do need to keep managing that area of life. Now Mars for you guys relates to the yellow chakra, so it's inner child wound. So it'd be good if you could do guided meditation linking to that. Also, because you do have the 5th house placement activated at the beginning of the month, Moon in Cancer is 5th house placement. Again, similar energies will come up. And with Moon in Cancer, it is your third eye. So you can be experiencing like third eye blockages, which is very common in what we deem a spiritual awakening. So if you are experiencing fatigue, tension in the head, you know, looking at that, and you can use obviously holistic approaches which can link to guided meditation, third eye, chakra balance through eating the food groups linked to that area. You could also use crystals for that. Now, Mars, Aries placement with Mars will be there for 7 years. So you will continue to have subjects linking to your 2nd house placement. This can be your ability to be creative, very 5th house. It can be your ability to release the past from your childhood and for you to do the inner nurturing work. Now, to balance that out, you can dance. You can move, which will break down that energy in the middle. Also, as I mentioned, the guided meditation and chakra gems to balance that. But that will be a heavy placement for you for 7 years. So to have the gem to start managing that area, if and should it does come up, if that even is common English. Now the other placement you're going to have, again, very heavily 12th house placement, and I would highly advise tourmaline, onyx, and amethyst. And that's due to the fact that when you do have 12th house activation, you can accidentally attract darker energy, and that will be more during retrograde, especially with Neptune in your 1st house placement retrograde, and mid-year next year when Jupiter retrogrades, you know. So being cautious of that and using those gems to balance it. Again, if you do want a booking, you can. The link is below, and I can guide you which month by month what chakra systems are coming up. We're also going to be having high heart chakra, and that's due to the fact that we have a lot of Gemini energy at the moment. So both Gemini and Sagittarius are going to be huge points due to the nodes, and they can be gemstones, crystals, and guided meditation in those areas. So both the sacral chakra, solar plexus, it's almost like a reset. So clear your house. That can be with smudge sticks, gemstones, cleaning and discarding of the energy outside of the home, removing the old energy, especially with full moons, especially with solar eclipses. It is a 6 to 18 month transit energetic wise. Getting that done, also, you know, integrating the energy inside of yourself so you're becoming grounded moving into 2021. And again, because we are going to have the moon energy there in Cancer, it can be a very emotional time linking to family and purgatory experiences. Now, all things work and communication can be a bit testing leading up in the first week. Regardless of whether you, and I will mention those of you who are working midsection, but again, this can directly be applied. Those of you directly who are working, there can be complications, confusion. 1 minute really cognitively, you might be thinking on the rationale, and then the expansion energy will come through with Jupiter. So it's sort of like Mercury energy with your thoughts and your feelings will require it to be quite structured. And Jupiter is sort of like, no, you've got to see the bigger picture, let's go. So there can be this push-pull dynamic, and especially because we will have Aries and Chiron still retrograde until mid-month, you may have tension relating to co-workers, marriages, contracts, partnerships, people around you. So tension can be there. Now, as for finances, you could be working extremely hard, and again, there can be frustrations linking to accountability, your side, their side, also deep responsibilities when it does come to groups. You know, wherever you are, be it you are directly working or you're not, what the responsibilities are, reading the criteria, and you know, following those things through. Some of the wounds may link to previous scenarios also. Regardless, as we do reach mid-month, a lot of the hard work and the miscommunication, you're going to get back to jump back and take your power back, and that's by about the 2nd and 3rd week, because we still will have that energy there of both Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn moving to the conjunction point, and as we reach the 17th and the 19th, that energy starts shifting into Aquarius. So again, themes to do with psychology, that can be on your side of the fence or the other side, but trying to look at the bigger picture. And I do feel with the 12th house it can really benefit you, especially linking to your creative ideas inside of your mind and how you can apply them. But you do need to articulate these visions. So do sit down, get grounded, think on those things, and then attempt to articulate them. Now, benefits can increase by mid-month due to the conjunction with both Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. You can find that you can get some leeway here, and epiphanies will happen through both eclipses where they'll be integrated into this month moving into 2021. Now, home can be a point of contention due to the fact that we do have the moon transiting on the 4th, from the 2nd to the 4th this month. And also we still will have both Saturn and Jupiter in the energy of Capricorn. Also, Pluto will remain there. So a lot of things that you're needing to deal with can link down to home-related dynamics, family, marriages, contracts, partnerships, your emotions, what's going on with work. You know, all of those things can be, trying to make sense of it all in the first week is going to be tension. There can also be big grand plans that are made during this time. But again, putting that onto paper and making that work, it's almost like the vision versus the thought. You're trying to pull together how that's going to happen. Some of you may wish to travel. Some of you are looking at that with the 9th house placement with Venus at the beginning of the week in Scorpio. Dreaming that dream and looking at the bigger picture. This can also be talking to people overseas. Now, as home progresses, wounds linking to previous scenarios can be coming up to you. As Aries and Chiron goes direct, I feel you'll realize that some of it is emotional based, not completely physical. And that's not to say that's for all of you. Some of you, if it is a physical situation that you feel you need more resources and you're looking at the monetary aspects, I do feel by mid-month these things can ease. Also, emotionally, it can be very nurturing and loving by the end of the month. But there still can be tension points leading into this, and it does appear to be very busy moving into this month. So try and have patience with people. I do feel you're going to be extremely social, which can be very similar to the 4th house placement with Gemini there, where either you're not home and you can't get enough done, or you're home and a lot of people are coming to you. And again, it can, that interruption energy. Make sure you jot down what you need to complete this month. And if there is anything documentation-wise, do it in the first 2 weeks. Hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Well, all things Aquarius, really, because although Aquarius is landing in your 12th house, you still do have 11th house placement. So you've looked at the 11th house, you've developed the 11th house, which means now that all that heavy accountability was there, you can directly apply in a more spiritual approach. Everything you have in your mind, you can create. It's almost like completing university and going, wow, I completed it. So 12th house can be as hard or as difficult or as easy as you like it. It can be quite testing because we see the bigger meanings, but it's as we have these situational shifts trigger outside of us, we can then refer back to that 12th house and go, is that why that happened? I can use this, I can use that, and you can directly apply it. It's very spiritual. Separately, it can be the place of hidden enemies, hidden resources, that you have these bright ideas, apply them into the 3D, trust the process. It can be to do with enemies, responsibilities. It can be a lot of things. However you choose to utilize that completely comes down to your energy of how you handle it. Now, ultimately speaking, hopes and dreams and psychic energy for you, Pisces, will be very, very strong. And moving into the moon energy of Cancer at the end of this month can be very, very testing, but you may find that your guides are trying to assist you with synchronistic messages. Sometimes it can be with doors closing, and I don't mean, yes, physically, sometimes doors do close. But I mean more from a psychological point of view, feeling that we've run out of time, feeling X, Y, and Z has happened. So from a psychological point, more so feeling blocked that you can't move forward. Sometimes rejection is the universe's protection and your guides are trying to assist you. Please do trust the process. I do see really beautiful things coming for you in 2021 and especially this month. Look at the pockets of beauty, dare to dream, because your guides are trying to give you messages. Now, this year has been quite a testing year, and it has been for quite some time. We've had such large things happen on a collective level that it would be odd if one of us hadn't in some shape or form lost someone. Now, with the 12th house placement, and because we do have the full moon in Cancer at the end of the year, it can be a very emotional time. And sometimes, as I mentioned previously, it's feeling like those doors are closed. How do we interconnect with these individuals? And psychically speaking, from a psychic's point of view, 9 times out of 10, they are directly with you, accessing your memory system. So tuning into you, you might be saying, hey, what would mum and dad have said on this direct situation? That can be for those of you who that's related. And thoughts to do with their patterns and their mannerisms may for some of you come up. And this is just an example. Separately, it can be smells. It can be point blank zero, the energy. But regardless, even if you don't feel you're receiving anything, lighting a candle for them and, having them in your thoughts has them with you in your heart. Any of you that have lost anyone this year or previously, my love and thoughts are with you. Please understand that they're always with you. Also, at a collective level, this can be a purgatory effect when we do stop just before moving over into the new year. It can be emotional because some of us potentially looking at 2020 going, what on earth happened? So just take a pause, reflect over all the beautiful people that touched our life at some point, and hopefully we can move into 2021 and take some of their beauty and have it inside us and create that outside in the world. On a brighter note, Pisces, thank you so much for joining me. And for those of you who have followed me over the last few years, all your subs, all your comments, I'm deeply appreciative of. If you are new, a very, very warm welcome. I hope you subscribe. A lot more content yet to come. I will guide you through 2021 and beyond. For those of you, if you're wanting a booking, the link is below. Also, please keep safe. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and let's get excited for 2021. I love to hear your feedback, how this video relates. Please drop me a comment. Keep safe, guys. The Age of Aquarius.